Do you need to boost confidence of your sales team? Then you need to do certain things in your workplace, or you need to make some changes at your workplace which can boost confidence of your sales team. Number one, strengthen their product or service knowledge, even the market knowledge. What happens when someone goes out and pitch? They face certain challenges, they face certain questions, certain objections, and these objections are not generally about the product or the service but also about the market. Okay, so your employees need to understand what is your product, what is your service, how to pitch, what kind of objections they will get, and what is the market, what are the potential competitors, what they are offering, what is their lags, what are their strengths. When they understand your competitors, they will be able to present your product or service in a better way. Okay, so to work on providing training about these things to your employees. Okay, second thing, you can always practice through role plays. What do I mean? In your training sessions, in the off the job training means when they are not facing the client, give them some situations which are similar to facing clients. These are called role plays, where you can practice activities. For example, one employee plays like a client, one employee plays like a salesperson, and then you can make them practice their pitches, you can make them practice the objections. Okay, third thing is, see, what mistake we generally do in sales is focusing on metrics, right? But along with that, what we do is we focus on revenue more. How much sales did you generate this month? What is your number? This is what we typically ask, right? What are your numbers? How many sales? How many products sold? What is the revenue? How much is the growth? We do not actually measure the efforts made by the employees. Why am I saying this? Obviously, when we talk about company's growth, revenue matters the most. But how is revenue coming? It is coming through the efforts of your sales team. Now let me give you an example. Let's say your team made 100 calls in a month. One of the employees made 100 calls in this month. Okay, now in these 100 out of these 100 calls, you know, as per the industry standard and as per your past experience, let's say 20 25 customers should book an appointment, right? And out of those 20 25 customers, who potential customers who are booking appointment with your team, probably 5 are converting. Good. But one of your employees made 100 calls, 15 appointments got booked, and 2 clients converted. What is going wrong? So now, when you are measuring the metrics, the efforts made by your employee, you know that conversion of the call was not good. Where it should have converted 25 calls, it converted only 15 calls. So probably you would like to listen to the call recording of the employee and the potential client, so as to analyze where the employee needs to improve in his pitch on his telephonic conversation, right? So when you focus on activities rather than revenue, you tend to grow. Automatically, sales will grow. Okay. Second thing, fourth point, what I want to share is you need to grow your employees in collaborative environment. What do I mean? See, uh, do you remember the time when we were in school or college? We used to do group studies, right? Uh, why? Because when we study in a group and we face some problem, we ask each other, can you tell me this question? I'm not able to understand. Correct? Same thing happens in the sales team also. When someone is not performing, or maybe that employee wants to achieve the sales targets, but somehow this employee is facing some issues in the market, on the field. Now, there is nobody whom he or she can ask to. But on the other hand, if it is collaborative learning, this employee will be motivated because other people are asking questions. He will also put forward his questions. Okay, this is what I am facing. How do I improve? And then he will get n number of suggestions on what he can do about his challenge. Thereby, uh, this will give you two things. One, your sales number increase. Number two, the environment at your workplace becomes better. Employee retention rate also improves. This is another side benefit of this strategy. Okay. Fifth thing you need to do is, if your employee is not performing at par, what you can do is to give performance appraisal, right? Appraisal, or I can say feedback. Now, what happens? The way we give feedback is too generic. Your sales number are not increasing. You have to do certain thing. This is not going to work. This is what we say, right? You need to develop some passion, develop some energy. Go ahead. You can achieve it. This is what we say. But this is not the feedback. So you need to be very, very specific. See, Mr. X, there is a problem in your pitch. You're not asking the customer what customer is requiring. So if you ask the customer, probably the customer will speak and you will know what exactly to pitch. Right? This is called specific feedback. Okay, Mr. X, you are very good at your pitch, but when you meet client, you are doing this thing not very correct. Right? So that's called specific feedback. So give specific feedback. With this, your employee improves, his performance also gets better, and your sales numbers get better. Okay. Then next thing you can do is to build a success library. Have you seen some companies have those boards, employee of the month? Is it for time pass? No. See, that board shows that if this person can achieve it, you can also achieve it. Why not have success library on your website, or probably success library in your office, right? Where you are displaying picture of those employees who have performed, performed. Probably you can have a collection of winning sales calls, successful emails, um, some examples which are very good. Somebody has achieved extraordinary number, right? Some customer has given feedback that your executive was so good, well dressed, well behaved. So that customer feedback can be included on that board, right? So if you build that success library, each employee of yours will be motivated to come on that board, right? And this will give you good sales number. Then another thing is pair your strong performance with the developing ones, right? With this strategy, the developing salespeople will learn from the successful salespeople, and that's how your number grows. Okay, then you can also work on some fears of your employees. See what happens as a human being when we work, we tend to fear of some or the other thing. For example, let's say if I am going out to sell something, sell these specs to you. Okay. Now, while selling these specs, I may have that fear. You know what? Customer will not like this design. It's too black in color. Somehow I'm not looking presentable today. I don't know. The other executive is much better. Not looking that good. Will the customer get attracted by my pitch? I'm too bland. I'm too old to sell. I'm not that lucky. Other person who is performing might be very lucky. That's how he's getting sales, right? So these are some fears. One of the biggest fear in sales is fear of rejection. What if the other person says no? So out of that fear, we don't even pitch. And this is very common. This is very common. So apart from that, we generally tend to take rejection very personally. If somebody says no, we are very hurt. Oh yeah, he said no. How do I make second call? What if the other person also says no? That will happen, right? Out of 10 people, 7 to 8 will not come eventually. They're they're actually saying no. And this happens with everyone. This is called 80-20 rule, right? So whatever you do, this will happen. So you can basically train your employees on this 80-20 rule, fear of removing their fear of rejection. This will give you good boost in your sales. Probably you can hire an external trainer in for that, some life coach, or some mindset coach who can train your employees on that. Okay. Then set some achievable goals. I have seen two problems when it comes to goal setting with the corporations. One, their sales target are highly unachievable. So their mindset goes like this: the more target we set, anyways, the employee is going to achieve half only, right? So let me keep the target at higher level. So every on an average, employees will achieve the half. My job is done. If somebody overperforms and achieves the complete target, good. Then that next time we can revise their sales target. That's how we think. Second problem in the goal setting is we give them big target. Okay, this month your target is 1 lakh rupees of revenue, but then we do not tell them that bigger goals need to be broken down into micro goals. So what you have to instead do, you have to give them number one, achievable targets. So targets are smart, specific, then reasonable, measurable, then achievable, then realistic, and so these are the targets. These are the features of the targets you should keep. More importantly, whatever your targets you are setting, you have to break down into weekly target, daily target. When you do that, your employee so by default human mind thinks like this: oh, only okay, let's say 1 lakh rupees of target in a month, that comes down to, for example, 3,500 per day. Oh, that much only. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Right? So this way it becomes easier, right? It becomes very easy to follow the target because our mind thinks only one smaller number, right? Then understand your sales team is a human, right? They're humans. Humans have some identity, some characteristics, some fears. Um, so what you have to do is to polish their identity, to polish their outlook. How you can do that? By developing their professional identity. And there are many ways, hundreds of ways, thousands of ways you can do that. Uh, I'll briefly give you two, three examples and I'll talk about a major point here. See, first thing, the human being is made of outer look and inner look. Okay, so outer look, you need to groom your employees on their personality, on their imaging. Okay, and inner look is all about their mindset, which I have already spoken. Okay, so one thing, focus on both outer and inner look. Secondly, the more important point is how do your clients look at your employees? What have you trained your employees actually? I'll give you two examples. Now listen carefully. So one is, let's say I am your employee and I'm going out, I'm telling, okay, we deal in stationery, and this is our scissor, this is very good. Why don't you buy this scissor? Would you like to buy? How many pieces shall I keep for you? This is one pitch. This is pure sales pitch. Now with this pitch, I'm looking like a salesperson. Correct? And generally, salespeople are not uh, looked at with very high respect. This is our human mind, right? We downgrade salespeople. We see them as influencing, pitching something we don't want. This is our general tendency, how we think. But on the other hand, let me improvise my pitch. Hi, Mr. X. How are you doing? See, I am not here to sell you anything. I just want to show you very few good things. But before that, I would like to understand how is it going for you? What do you want to uh, have? I mean, what are you? What are your requirements? See, already you have very good shop. All the stationery items are available here. Is there anything you particularly are looking for? Your client is asking. Now, what am I doing here? I am not pitching my product. I am asking about the client. So here I am looking like consultant. Okay, okay. Let me finish. So client will say something. Then obviously after that I'll ask. Okay, okay. I've noted down your requirements. Is there any challenge you are facing? I mean, stationery wise, some feedback or quality issues? Now, client becomes interested because I'm asking about the client's business. Fine. Shall I show you something? I mean, if it is useful to you. Now, this is the time I can show my scissor. Do you want to buy this? Not asking directly, but how? Okay, since you said that art and craft material is not available with you and you are looking for something very unique, what I will do for you is I will find out what new products are being launched, and apart from that, what all do I have in my stock. I'll email you all the inventory available with us. Is that good with you? Right. For now, I wanted to show this scissor. Now, the specialty of this scissor is that it is safe for children also, right? Now, the client becomes, yeah, this is unique. So, nowadays, parents are very concerned with the safety of the child while using scissor. Yeah, you can use this scissor. This is very good. Now, there are higher chances of getting this sales call converted. Correct? So, this is how you train your sales team. How to look like a consultant instead of looking like a salesperson. Right? So, these few points are very important, what I've talked about, if you want to boost confidence of your sales team. If your sales team has access to this kind of training, their confidence immediately goes up and they actually improvise, they generate more sales for you. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do like the video, subscribe the channel, and see you again in our next video. Thank you.